I'm going to rant, and I don't usually do this. So hang with me to the end of the video because I want to tell you some truth about Easter. I saw so many posts this weekend about, well, I'm not celebrating Easter because it's a pagan holiday, and I'm not going to celebrate Easter because, well, it's not Passover yet. It's supposed to happen on Passover, and Passover is at the end of April, so I'm not going to celebrate Easter. And I just want to shed some truth on all of this. Because if you serve a God who saw the millions of posts on Instagram, I was just on Instagram, the millions of posts just on Instagram this weekend about the truth of Jesus, the cross, and the resurrection. If you serve a God who watched people file into church on a Friday to recognize the death and sacrifice that Jesus made, and then come back again on Sunday to rejoice in the truth of his resurrection. If you serve a God who watched parents explain to their children why there's a cross instead of an Easter bunny. If you serve a God who saw all of that and went, well, that's all great, but they did it on the wrong day. I'm sorry, you don't serve Jehovah God. You do not serve the creator of this universe. And let me give you biblical truth of that. In 2 Chronicles, in chapter 30, Hezekiah the king wants to bring back the Levitical law into Israel. He wants Israel to come back to God. And so he decides that he is going to hold Passover, but they aren't ready. And so we've got chapter 30, verse 2. The king and his officials and the whole assembly in Jerusalem decided to celebrate the Passover on the second month. Well, Passover is in the first month. In fact, it's dictated by law that it be in the first month. And here, King Hezekiah has decided that they're going to do it in the second month because they're not ready. And rather than wait a whole nother year, he decides they're going to celebrate it here. And what is God's response to that? The last verse in chapter 30, God heard them, for their prayer reached heaven, his holy dwelling place. My God heard everything on the weekend, and not once did he think it was the wrong day. And you know why? Because Christ died once for all. It doesn't matter the day. In fact, as Christians, we should be celebrating Sunday every single week. We should be celebrating the resurrection of our King every single week. In fact, get up tomorrow morning and say, thank you, God, for the cross. Thank you, God, for what you did on the cross. And if you don't go to a church who celebrates Easter, every single Sunday, find another one. Because we should be rejoicing in the truth of Christ rising from the dead every single Sunday. So don't stress about the date, because ultimately Christ died once. It doesn't matter the day. Because really what we're celebrating is that Christ rolled our stone away. See, I was dead in my sin. I was dead in hopelessness. I was so broken. I was so lost. And Christ rolled my stone away. He released me. And so I can celebrate that every single day.